Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. My name is Carlos Torres, along with Fred Vader. We check in on the world of golf to bring you the latest news, insights, analysis, interviews, recaps, previews. Hey, we cover anything and everything golf. In other words, if it happened in golf, we have it for you. Fred, hi, how are you today?
Hey, Carlos, I'm great this evening. I'm up here in Michigan, freezing my butt off. But Sunday, I'm going to start heading back down south. I'm going to play a little golf down South Alabama and Florida and maybe Georgia. So I'm getting ready to boogie out of here.
How cold is it there right now?
I think it got up to almost freezing today. It's really warm. It's like a heat wave. It's hardly gone above 20 for about a month.
Wow. No, I'll stay here. At least we got over 60 today. So we're warming up right now. I think that's summer coming compared to what you are having right now. And Fred, I was going to call you Phil. It's incredible because we're going to talk about Phil Mickelson. It seems like we talk about Phil Mickelson so much.
It's the weekly Phil show.
It's weekly, twice. It's been lately. It's incredible. But hey, Phil Mickelson, we talked about him last week, just a few days ago, really, and talked about the fallout that was happening with him. And I'm sorry all this is happening, but that didn't help too much because last Friday, he lost 2 more sponsors over that criticism of the PGA Tour and his comments about the Saudi government. Callaway Golf said they will pause their relationship with Mickelson. Earlier in that day, Workday said he would not renew its agreement with the golfer. The two joined KPMG and Amstel Light in breaking with Phil Mickelson. But there was more fallout on Saturday from the PGA Tour because it told the Desert Sun that Mickelson was no longer the host of the American Express Tour in the event in La Quinta, California. And the Mickelson Foundation created for the tournament will no longer be part of the event. So the 2022 American Express already took place in January. And Mickelson said that he was giving his partners last week the option of pausing or ending their relationships with him. Of course, they said, sure, thank you so much. It is done, as you say. So, the offer was tucked inside that apology that he made that we talked about last week. And Fred, this is all, he put himself at risk of all this. I still don't understand what was he thinking. And he's 51 years old. He had just won a major championship last year at age 50. Why did he have to get into this? What was he going to gain after seeing all this fallout? I mean, and he's been trying to backtrack everything. No, it was taken out of context. I'm sorry this didn't happen. I think we're not going to see a little bit from Phil I thought it was just going to be for a short while, but I don't know when we're going to see him again, Fred.
I've been having a social media conversation with some people. I don't know if you've been following that, but a couple of friends around the country say, well, they don't think he'll play in the Masters. And they don't, we may not see him in the Players because that's a PGA Tour event. So we may not see him there, but I would be very shocked if he was not at the Masters. He loves that tournament above all others. He's a past champion. He has playing rights to play in that, so I would be very surprised if he isn't there at least on Thursday and Friday. He might not make the cut, but be very surprised if he's not at the Masters. Be very surprised if he doesn't play in the U.S. Open. And he's a past champion of the Open Championship. So I'd be very surprised if he doesn't play in the majors. He's got 5-year exemption after winning the PGA last year, and he's going to be at the PGA. He's a defending champ. So. I be very surprised if he's not in the Masters for sure. Carlos, getting back to where Phil's at right now, this being pulled as a sponsor of the American Express, this was a little bit of a setback. This was kind of a major setback. Yeah, he lost the sponsorships and that's money, but this is a real hit to his pride. on this little deal. This is not just a little slap on the wrist, saying you've been a naughty boy and asking him if he'll be better in the future. The tour is setting an example for other players thinking about switching to that Asian tour and that Saudi money. They're saying, listen, we don't care who you are. If you're going to mess around with those guys, you're dead to us. This is a family business here. This is a business you've chosen. You're out of here. Take the gun, dump the gun, but keep the cannoli kind of thing. So, the Amex is the old Bob Hope. It's in the Palm Springs desert. It's always the first PGA Tour event on the West Coast after the 2 tournaments in Hawaii to start the calendar year. Phil and his foundation have been the sponsors for the past 2 years. They still had 2 years remaining on the contract, but not going to happen. So what we don't know, did the tour officially jerk the contract from Phil, or did Phil want out? Is he getting ready to cut all his ties with the PGA Tour and move to the Saudi-backed Super Golf League? It's an option. There has to be a lot of action and strategizing going on in the Mickelson camp. Where he will land and when he will play next is a mystery. I already talked about that a little bit. I would be very surprised. The only way he's not going to play in the Masters is if he's in the Super Golf League, and he still may play in the Masters because that has nothing to do with the PGA Tour. The Masters owns the Masters. The tour doesn't dictate to the Masters who can play and who doesn't play. They say who's going to play and who's not going to play. Okay. So Phil Mickelson is a past champion. I got a feeling, I don't care where he's at. If he wants to play, he's welcome to play. So there's still a lot of stuff going on. I just don't know, Carl. It just keeps churning and churning. There's all this stuff still going on. I looked at the Asian Tour's website. They had the results, of course, the Saudi International won by Harold Varner. They've got last week's Royals Cup in Thailand, who won that. And then they've got the International Series in Thailand, March 3rd through 6th, and the DGC Open in Delhi, India on March 24th through 27th. So the International is opposite the Arnold Palmer, and the DGC is the same week as the WGC Match Play. So there's some events coming up. It'll be curious to see who does go play those. I found it interesting to see that Bryson DeChambeau opted out of the API this week, citing some injuries again, but he's not playing. So I just wonder if there's still negotiations going on there too, Carlos.
I think Bryson's not going anywhere. After all this fallout, for him just to go there, it will hurt his brand. You made a really good comment that I want to follow up on, and about who really saying, was it the PGA Tour that canceled the contract, or was it Phil? It's very interesting because I was just talking to a friend the other day and about this after, on Saturday, the Amex went out and said that. And I was saying, I think Phil definitely right now, the only choice he has is to go and play on the Asian Tour or the Super Golf League whenever that is taking place. But definitely it's something that right now for him, playing in the Masters, yeah, he can play any of those tournaments. Now, what will be the fallout for him on the PR side, right? Because it's going to be interesting to see. Is he going to go to the Champions Center? I don't know. It's going to be, how are they really going to be taking it? But it's really what happened, really why all this is happening. Is it because of the comments that he made about the PGA Tour, or really the comments that he made about Saudi Arabia that really got him canceled all this? Because if you come to think about it, talking about the PGA Tour, a lot of players have said a lot of bad things about the PGA Tour before. Hey, they complain. No tour is perfect. There's been complaints about this and that here and there. So up to the time that he was saying that there were obnoxious greed people and all this stuff, He was just seen as a guy that, hey, he's saying whatever he wants and all that. But when he talked about the Saudis and the things that they did and like not condemning them or just basically accepting what they do and saying, hey, I don't care, I'll just go there and play. That really is what I think got him into all these issues that he's having. I don't think the issue's so big for him PR wise and the sponsors because of what he said about the PGA Tour, which really makes you think, really, does he now really want it, or was it the PGA Tour doing this because they just saw a way to get him out? So it's very interesting. I don't know the answer to that, but definitely it's a great thing to think. Now, the only thing that I see is that he definitely can play the majors. Like we talked about this, because other than playing in the fifth major, which is the players, he can play in all of them because they are not owned by the PGA Tour. So like you mentioned, the PGA Championship, he's a defending champ. He's going to be there. He's going to be at the Open, definitely. And the Masters, well, it's close. I hope he's going to be there. But I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to see how he's going to react. And of course, how the players are going to be reacting to him anytime that he steps foot in any PGA Tour play tournament.
To answer your comment, Carlos, you see it as two things. I see it as three, and I don't see it as one thing any stronger than that. I see it's a combination of all three. It's what he said about the Saudis. It's what he said about the PGA Tour, but it's also that he was using the other players, actively trying to get them to go to the Super Golf League and commit to that, to use that against the PGA Tour. That's the other key point there, that's kind of like a trifecta. And that's what really, kind of makes it kind of, I think that's what really got to people. There's only one guy that I've seen that's actually kind of standing up for Phil, saying, Tony Jacklin says, I don't know what the big deal is. Phil, no matter how he's trying to do it, he was trying to make it better for the players. He should be applauded. The PGA Tour is a big organization. You got to have something in your hand if you're going to go fight them. Trying to lever and use that as a negotiating point, that should be applauded. That's a good business move. Anybody would do that, is kind of what Tony Jacklin said. So, my questions are, Carlos, to kind of wrap this up, is that, do you believe that Phil had the best interests of other players on his mind in his dealings with the Saudis? I think he had the best interests of Phil on his mind in his pocketbook. And if you were Phil, with fewer sponsors, seemingly no friends on the PGA Tour, but you're exempt in any event you want to play on the PGA Tour, but the SGL, the Super Golf League, is offering you 40 to 50 million to join, what would you do next?
To answer the first question, it's difficult to say. Phil Mickelson is no dummy. Okay, when he said all this, he must have thought it through what he was getting into. He knew what he was going through. I still think, and I know what you're saying about the three things, but I think the other one about using the players to get to the Super Golf League, I don't see as a big issue, really, PR wise. That's my thing is why all the sponsors are saying now we're not going to be with you. It's not because he wanted the players to go there to the PGA Tour. That really doesn't matter. It's just trying him and all those other players that received the NDAs and all that. They were on their own. That it's just recruiting that he was trying to do. So what? It's not a big deal, like you would say, like Tommy Jacklin said. I totally agree. I mean, it's just the things.
I'll tell you who it's a big deal to, Carlos. It's a big deal to Jay Monahan. And Jay Monahan works with all those guys, all those CEOs of those companies. It's a big deal to Jay Monahan.
Well, because that's his bottom line. That's the problem. If he cannot let them go out. So that's why I'm saying it's not a big deal if you come to see that, hey, I'm just trying to negotiate, because yeah, it's a big deal for Jay Monahan because it's the bottom line of the PGA Tour. What if this sponsor starts to go with all those players? That would have been the big problem. But again, to me, the big thing still remains the comments that he made about the Saudi Arabia, because that's what everybody started to get really pissed at him. Everything else, he could have just gone away, get away with it. And again, to Tony Jacklin's comments, definitely, hey, you have to negotiate somehow as well. I mean, you got to have something now. Certainly, again, I see him definitely going there now. He's 51 years old. He doesn't have, for even if he won the PGA Championship last year, we know his limitations were going to start to creep up. To me, that was once in a lifetime performance. He hasn't replicated that in any other tournament after that or before that for a while. They're in the PGA Tour, so I think he's just thinking right now, hey, the best way that I could have improved that was to bring some people, and he tried to do the best for that. Yeah, he was looking more for his bottom line, but at the same time, hey, the players should get the freedom to choose. That's something that I am totally with him. They should get the freedom to choose. They want to go there. That is their livelihood. That is their job. They're not playing this, even though I know John Ram said, hey, I don't do this for money. Well, do it for free then. Do it for free.
I'll take it. Yeah, just give me. I'll take part of it. You can. That's all right. Yeah,
I'll take it for you, man. You're not doing it for money. I'll do it.
I'll help you out.
So, anyway, the bottom line here to close is yes, the players. I'm totally agreeing and with Phil on this. They should have some saying in where they want to play, because hey, they're the contractors of the PGA Tour. But at the same time, I have to understand that as an employer, the PGA Tour can say, no, if you're working for this other, just go there and play whatever you want there. But anyway, I think it's something that we'll continue to talk, maybe daily, weekly again. It's not going anywhere. But for now, we know that Phil Mickelson is going to be out from the tournaments. Maybe we'll see him back in the Masters. And the next time we know something about it, we'll be bringing it to you. Fred, any closing comments?
No, just can't wait to get down south, play a little golf.
All right. And hopefully, you don't freeze too much coming up this week. So go ahead. Let's see if, the sun gets a little bit there and starts warming up. Thank you for joining us. It's always our pleasure to bring you the latest in the world of golf news and information. Subscribe to our channel. The subscription link is right there on the description. Thank you for joining us.